Hey guys, it's DDD. I'm back with my next or newest podcast episode. I'm pretty sure now this is going to be episode 8. And I feel so crazy for just assuming and putting that out there, bitch, because I could be wrong. I know that this is either definitely episode 7 or 8, but I'm going to just go with 8. I feel like this is episode 8. And, matter of fact, the more that I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure it's episode 8. So yes, episode 8. And this time I'm going to have a conversation. I think this is going to be another 2-parter just because of how much I may have to get into regarding the matter. But in this particular podcast, I wanted to have a conversation. Again, this is going to be, I don't know if I want to say this is LGBT related. I mean, it kind of is, but it's not like I'm speaking on a bigger, okay. I'm not speaking about the community generally. This is going to be more of a direct example of just something I want to point out about a situation that I've personally had to experience for years. And this involves another gay man, right? That happened to be my neighbor. So I've actually had a couple of neighbors since I've moved into my apartment that I've been, renting, leasing for almost a decade now. So I've had a couple of neighbors move here from, I would say, the LGBT community. We had, I would say, 2 B's in the building at one point, I guess if we're going to be technical, because the upstairs neighbor who I had above me, who was, the main issue that I'm going to discuss today, he, I guess, identifies as a bisexual man, but I believe he likes men more. And the same could be said about the other gay person who was my next door neighbor at one point. However, with him, he identified with his, biological gender pronouns. Like, he would cross dress, like he wears female clothing, wears wigs, but says he knows that he's still a man, or, he doesn't care if someone calls him she, like he just kind of goes with the flow. And then apparently he still likes to dibble and dabble with women from time to time. So that's technically, by his own words, that's a bisexual man, despite however he dresses. So with that being said, I've had issues with both of these neighbors individually at different points. And I kind of want to get into why and the dynamics of all that. And this is going to all kind of go back to my original points that I've had, where I've talked about like having issues with gay men because of the unnecessary tension or like the mean girl attitude or the bullying energy that a lot of them try to have with other people in their community. So who I really want to get into mainly is the upstairs neighbor, because he turned out to be the biggest issue. So, with this person, right, I'm just going to, first of all, I don't give a fuck, okay? It's no reason for me to, I don't need to protect his name or, bitch, I'm going to say his name. I don't give a fuck. It's not like I'm going to put all his information out there or his whole identity. I mean, there's information about him where if I wanted to be real specific, I could go there, but I'm going to just keep it cute and use his first name. I had an upstairs neighbor named Robert, right? And he, like I said, fellow gay man, really, I guess, considers himself bisexual, whatever. But it's clear to me that he's mostly gay because, you're dealing with men. Every time I turn around, I never see you with a female. You're obviously a butch queen. Like, I'm not trying to project any internalized homophobia. It's not giving that. But it's just one of those things where it's like, let's be real. Like, we all have those moments where we talk about certain people or things. And it's just like, let's just keep it real. Okay. Like, you're obviously mostly a gay man, whatever the case may be. Okay. He lived above me. He's lived above me for 6 years, right? And only recently got evicted. Now, he was a huge problem, not only in the building, right? But for me personally, because I feel like not only was he just a disturbed individual, like on his own, I don't even feel like it had anything to do with me. Like, he was already a disturbed person on his own. But I feel like I became a target for him where he thought he was going to like try to bully me, or, you know, he was purposely antagonizing me. And I feel like he was only doing it because he knew that I was a fellow gay man. And I felt like it was one of those weird dynamics where it was like, okay, you wanted to, like I said, play that mean girl role with me, where it was like you wanted to act like you were better than me or above me, or you just thought that I was somebody you could play with. And I've been in a war with this man for literally like the past couple of years, trying to get him held accountable for his behavior. So, for starters, you know, the man, it's like I said, he's just disturbed. I remember, like, it's clear to me that he has mental health issues. And I'm not, you know, I know people, you know, just maybe throw that around sometimes, but no, I'm being serious. Like, I'm obviously no doctor or psychologist, but I just feel like it's certain things that's like a dead giveaway when you can tell someone has a mental problem, because it's like certain behaviors, to me, you know, they're not normal. You know what I mean? Or it's like certain ways that people respond to situations, like whether it's super aggressive. It's like you can just tell by the way people choose to handle situations and handle their emotions, right? How stable they are or how unstable they are. So with him, you know, I feel like there was an issue where it's like, you know, people, I just feel like when you live around people, neighbors, you know, you do have to deal with different things that you may not want to deal with. You know, you got to overhear sometimes, you know, conversations or people arguing and people partying, celebrating. It's just different things, right? Where if you're living in a building or a situation where you have to deal with neighbors so closely or so directly, you have to learn to coexist, because there may be times where, you know, people are noisy or things are happening that aren't always to your liking, but it's like you can't always get mad or try to make an issue out of everything, because, I mean, if that's the case, you know, you're never going to be sane, you're never going to be happy. And at a certain point, you got to take control of your own life and destiny. And I mean, if things are that bad, I mean, just sometimes you got to do what you got to do to bust your ass, work hard, and just save and move to go to a better environment. Like, just basically level up and put yourself in a better position to be in a better environment, or just have a better predicament to be in. And I mean, that is easier said than done. And that's something that I feel like eventually, you know, I need to lock in and focus on. Because even with this one problem being removed, or the couple of problems, like I said, with the neighbors I had, it's like, it just feels like when one problem ends, another one begins. Cause now I have another next door neighbor who I feel like is giving noisy and disturbing energy. And it's just like, okay, like, it just seems like this shit is never ending. And this is like a newer neighbor. So, you know, it's just starting to become obvious to me, especially being someone who's grown up in an urban environment, like basically my whole life, that it's really more so about the environment and the people than, you know, the place itself. You know what I'm saying? Because the apartments I stay in, they aren't the best homes either. They're decent, but, you know, they're not the biggest. You know, there's not like a whole bunch of space, or, you know, it's just like, it's just something. It's like, I feel like it's a starter point for someone who's having their first place, right? But I wouldn't consider this any place that someone should just want to live and be permanently, or like to like retire here, die here. Like, it's not giving none of that. And I mean, I know the ideal thing is for most people to have a house, a home, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with living in an apartment or an apartment complex. It just depends on where you live. So getting back to the point, you know, with the upstairs neighbor. So I just feel like it's a situation sometimes with neighbors. Like, this is the point I was trying to make overall with everything I was saying. While you have to deal with neighbors for who they are and whatever things they may have going on, you know, everyone still has to be respectful to everyone to a certain degree. And, you know, I feel like sometimes there can be a silent competition with neighbors too, where it's like, okay, because now I'm turning on my music, you want to turn on your music. It's like, I can't listen to my music in my home at peace because now you're turning around and you want to play your music over my music as if to be smart, to say like, you don't want to hear my shit. Now, this was one of the first minor issues I was noticing with him. I'm like, okay, like, and I used to try to be respectful of him. Like, and that was one way that I tried to show it. It was like, okay, like I would play my music sometimes and I would notice that he wouldn't really play his. So, you know, I would have my couple of hours or whatever the case may be. Like, I would try to play music, but I would try to be mindful. And then I would notice that, okay, maybe sometimes like right after I played my music, he would play his. And that was fine because it was like, all right, at that point, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? You can rock out, do your thing. That's cool. And I'm gonna move on to something else, play my game, watch TV, whatever. But I noticed that when I was playing my music, like then he would start to play it at the same time, like play it over mine. So then I'm starting to notice, I mean, not that that's still not his right, but it's just giving like, oh, okay, now you're trying to compete with me, or it's like this funny energy you feel away, whatever. Because it's one thing for you to do it maybe once, twice. When I notice that it's repetitive and it's constant, it's consistent, oh, okay, you're doing this on purpose. Like, sometimes like not waiting until I even play music to play music. So, oh, okay. So that was the first thing I noticed. Then I noticed one night when I had company over, when I had my older sister over and we were like, you know, enjoying each other's company, watching TV on the Xbox, YouTube, whatever. You know, I will admit that, you know, when me and my sister get together, we can be a little loud and, you know, the laughing, the talking, we can be loud people. But that's not an excuse to, you know, cause a whole bunch of disturbance or be ignorant about addressing however you feel. Mind you, during the time, I think it wasn't even like super late. I think it may have been like 9 o'clock at night at the latest, which is still like, you know, that's a little late, but it's given like you don't work. And the courtesy hour really is 10 o'clock. So it's like, if me and my sister are still being a little noisy or loud, or we're talking loud, whatever, it's 9 o'clock. Okay, bitch, get over it. Like, I have company and it's not like it's super late. So he started like yelling and stomping and just throwing shit all around his unit upstairs. Like, he just started crashing out over the fact that me and my sister were downstairs enjoying each other's company. Like, it wasn't like we were jumping around or anything. We were literally sitting on my bed, like, just chilling. And then out of nowhere, he like crashes out. Mind you, his mom is upstairs at the time, living with him or whatever. And she's even telling him like, all right, like, calm down. Like, the way he crashed out up there, like, that was the first sign to me that, oh, okay, this man is like, it's something mentally off with him. You understand what I'm saying? Because that wasn't a normal reaction to me. Like, the way he went off and was yelling and was like, oh, I don't give a F, I don't give a fuck, call the cops, and I'm tired. My thing is, sir, if you had an issue with the volume, or if you felt like my sister and I were too loud and you were trying to sleep or whatever the fuck you had going on, what you do is you come downstairs, you knock on the door, and you respectfully say something. Hey, I'm trying to get some sleep, whatever's going on, y'all are a little loud. Like, can you keep the noise down a little bit? Because my ex next door neighbor, the other one I was mentioning, she actually did that to me at one point when she was new and moved into the building and I had company and we were all talking loud and stuff like that. Mind you, at the time then, we were working on a podcast together. So, you know, we were excited. We were a little loud, but it's not like, I don't think we were that crazy. I just think that, you know, some people like to assert their authority in weird ways, if that makes sense. But this is the first part. I'm running out of time. I'm going to get deeper into the issues that we had in the second part. So thank you guys for listening and stay tuned for that.